The Arbites update is coming soon, and alongside our favorite Lex enforcers, we're also getting some updates to various parts of the game that I think many of you will be interested in. So I decided to make this short video to break down the various changes for you. Keep in mind that this video is about the general changes coming to the game, not the Arbites class. That's a different video which I'll be linking in the description below and maybe have as like a pop-up here or, whatever. Anyways, one of the things being added to this update is a revamped new player journey. This is done through a combination of campaign missions that new players have to complete, which has players going through the various missions in a kind of linear path alongside various cinematics as well. As players complete these missions, they'll gain access to more features aboard the Morningstar, which were previously gated by character level. These new campaign missions are a bit more streamlined. They are the normal missions that you'll encounter in-game, but they'll have things like controlled spawn rates compared to normal missions, and any character that's over level 10 or level 10 and above from before this update will have the option to skip this campaign entirely or choose to play it out. If you choose to play the campaign but then change your mind and want to actually skip the campaign, you can go to the personality search to go ahead and opt out. Another change is something that players have been asking for quite a while, a mission board rework. One of the first things to note about this is that the difficulty known as Sedition is gone. Also, Auric Heresy, to be specific, has been removed as well. Auric is now also a part of the difficulty selector, and its baseline is entirely in Damnation. For those confused, Auric missions and Damnation missions will have the same health pools, damage, wounds, etc. So basically the stats from both enemies and allies are the same regardless if you're playing Damnation or Auric. Auric has always been this way. The primary difference between Damnation and Auric is that Auric has a higher intensity, which means more enemies and just more things going on. Auric missions also have a lot more modifiers and access to Maelstrom Missions. So basically, if you're wondering whether you should play Damnation or if you should play Auric, it's essentially Damnation is the highest level that you can play in terms of like difficulty for enemy stats and whatnot, and then Auric is what you play when you want Damnation, but you want more chaos, you want more things going on. It was similar for this too for between Heresy and Auric Heresy, but unfortunately Auric Heresy is no longer a thing. However though, while Auric Heresy is gone, Heresy missions do still have access to Maelstrom missions. For those who don't know, Maelstrom missions are basically missions with a lot of additional modifiers, a lot of crazy things going on. They're basically the highest level of difficulty that you can play and intensity that you can play outside of Havoc missions. So if you want to play with Heresy difficulty scaling for stats for both yourself and for enemies, but you also want the higher intensity, you do have access to the Maelstrom missions even though you no longer have Auric Heresy. Also, as I mentioned previously, there is now a difficulty selector. So any missions you see on the mission board, you can now choose to play on any difficulty, all the way from Uprising to Auric. However, there is still a rotating selection of missions. Not every single mission is going to be present at all times. There's still going to be a rotating amount and where new missions come in and they'll have different modifiers as well. But any mission you see on the map, you can go ahead and play at any difficulty. Continuing on with difficulty, the way players unlock higher levels of difficulty is no longer based upon the level of their character. Instead now, players have a progress meter that they fill up by completing missions of the highest difficulty that they're able to access. By filling up this meter, they're able to then unlock higher difficulties and then they continue on until they unlock all difficulties. So if you're trying to get into Damnation, you have to keep playing and succeeding a bunch of Heresy missions. Also though, players can lose progress towards unlocking new difficulties when losing missions, but they will never be demoted to lower tier missions. So say for example, you want to unlock the Damnation difficulty, so currently you're only able to play at Heresy. So to unlock Damnation, you need to complete 10 Heresy missions. In the middle of this, you go ahead and lose 2 or 3 Heresy missions, and so you lose some progress, so you have to complete a couple more Heresy missions to unlock Damnation. Or maybe say something happens and like you win 1 Heresy mission, but then you lose 50 in a row or some crazy number like that. You will not be locked out of Heresy. You will still be able to queue Heresy even though you're constantly losing, but you will have lost all of your progress towards unlocking Damnation, and then you'll need to start getting better and racking up wins in order to unlock Damnation. These changes are done to help ensure that players are ready before they actually go into higher difficulty missions. This way they'll actually be a little bit more used to the systems and to the higher intensity of higher level missions in Darktide. With this new change as well, existing characters will have difficulty options unlocked based upon their character level and completed missions before this update drops. So you don't need to worry about being locked out of higher difficulty missions if you've already been regularly playing at these higher difficulties before this change. The last major change I'm going to be talking about is the Mortis trials. Mortis trials will also be losing Sedition, but gaining Auric in its difficulty selection. These Auric missions are going to have the same intensity as regular Auric missions, so there's going to be more enemies, shorter time between waves, and more enemies and enemy variety in general. For the shorter time between waves and the more enemy variety, I'm not entirely sure if that's Auric exclusive or if that's going to be Mortis trials in general, as the wording is a little awkward, but I can definitely say that Auric Mortis trials gets really crazy.
Okay, 2 Ogrins, 3 Ogrins, what the fuck?
I'm dropping the map back here. 4 Ogrins.
Is that 4 Ogrins? Are you kidding me?
And it's 4. Oh no! I don't want to be here.
Oh my god.
You'll also be able to hear new lore snippets coming from the mind of Shipmistress Braum, the person who owns the Morningstar. Aside from these changes, there's also various weapon balancing changes, but I don't feel comfortable talking about them much yet until I've had the chance to try them all. I will say though that I have tried the new shotgun buffs rather extensively, and overall I think the combat shotgun is in a much better place now, but the double barrel shotgun still feels a little underwhelming, so we'll see what happens with that. I'll be sure to do a more dedicated video about the general weapon balancing changes in the future after I've had some more time to play around with the other weapons. I'm also working on a Arbites breakdown video as well, so you can look forward to that as well, as I'll be talking about the Arbites class and their weapons. Anyways, thanks for watching y'all. If you found my video helpful, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I don't know, tell me a fun fact about your favorite animal in the comments below. Thanks, and I'll see you all next time.